Hello again. Welcome back for the third episode of the Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath critique. In the last episode, we did Shiva's chapter, which is chapter 14. I can't remember the name. Who cares about the names of the chapters? I think it was Guardian for Life. But anyway, yeah. Moving on, we're going to Fujin's chapter. First, let's go through the standard here. Sheamus Perks again. Links are all in the description. Check out my DDR, my fanfiction.net. Same for my friend CDR. We both do Mortal Kombat stuff and fanfic stuff. It's good stuff. Check it out if you like this stuff. Please. And also my Discord in the description as well. So we have done Time's Arrow in part 1. We've done Guardian for Life in part 2. So now we're on chapter 15, Winds of Change. I think I'm going to make a playlist to put like all the chapters in one. I just thought that off the top of my head now, but that seems like a good idea. So, of course, Time's Arrow, we did that. I'm surprised last episode was longer than the first one, since the first one was introducing stuff, and also Shiva's chapter is just filler stuff. So I don't know how I managed to make that go half an hour. This will probably also be a long one, but we'll find out. Chapter 15, Winds of Change, Fujin. This is probably the best chapter in Aftermath. It has it does have like a lot of stuff I can actually praise, unlike everything else. So that's good. That is actually this will be the most positive episode. It's still getting mostly negative because Aftermath and Aftermath is not good. In any way, it's just this chapter does have some pretty good qualities, and this is the chapter that's basically the retelling of the Jackson Jackie chapter, which is probably also the best chapter of the main MK11 story. So weird how that happens. I also like Katana's chapter, and so we'll get to those main story chapters probably, maybe if I can be bothered. That's gonna be a lot more episodes if so. But anyway, let's get to my notes. So obviously start off at Shang Tsung's island ruins. And yeah, I couldn't remember most of this. I had to last night. I had to look through a playthrough of it because I can remember most of this chapter. I remember certain things. Like I'll just start off with when the heroes and Sindel walk in. Yeah, they got Sindel now. They don't have Shiva. I don't think they explain why Shiva just isn't tagging along with them anymore. But Queen Jews, I guess. But they don't actually give them any reason. Even though, you could just say, oh, she's got to do stuff as Shogun Queen. So yeah, it's back to the regular trio and Sindel now. Which is an odd, definitely an odd group. To say the least. So they walk through. They repeat the thing in the Jackson Jackie chapter where they look at the hanging monks, like the corpses. Which is still gross. It's all very gross. But like like the eye falls on and everything. They repeat that still. Like thanks. So gross stuff, but very interesting is Shang Tsung. He's actually saddened to see the deaths of these monks, which is surprising for Shang Tsung. Very surprising. This is probably the most interesting part of Aftermath, and it's just a small law nugget. Shang Tsung being sympathetic, genuinely sympathetic for the first time. It's very interesting. So these are basically the monks, right, from MK1, and they made sense in Mortal Kombat 1 because that depiction was it was a Shaolin tournament, so obviously Shaolin monks are there. And then like they stuck around like whenever the island, like the tournament area on the island would return in the games, but that was just like nostalgia. There wasn't actually any like lore reason anymore because MK1 is drastically different to what we have now, which isn't a bad thing. Right? MK1 was definitely missing a lot of stuff. I mean, it still is. No retelling of MK1 actually makes sense, and there's been about like 10 of them now, so that's fucking dreadful. But yeah, the new law of these monks in Shang Tsung's island is that they are followers of Shang Tsung, and that's basically all the context, which sucks. That's it. But what is shared is very interesting. It's a very worthwhile addition to the lore, and I just wish that they went in a bit more with it. The crypt would have been a perfect opportunity to go into this lore. So yeah, like Shang Tsung said, he's touched by a devotion. So they stay on the island, and this is the reason why it needed more detail. There's no like their role isn't explained. They just kind of hang around the island, and also they just sat down, a lot of them, and they just died of natural causes. Is that their role? Does Tsung just pay them to sit, and then some killed themselves because Shang Tsung, presumably it was because of Shang Tsung's death, which is very bizarre. So yeah, it's very bizarre. It's a very interesting idea, and I think it definitely could work in more context. I mentioned in the previous episode, I do have a group of Shang Tsung followers, and this was before I had even processed this. Like, my first watching, I didn't even think anything of it. I wasn't paying attention. But yeah, now I'm looking at it now. It's crazy. The lore of these monks, God, it's very odd. And they're consistent with it. What happens, because they keep walking, and Shang Tsung, he's not even like being sarcastic this time. He's like genuinely like saddened to see like this loyalist of his just hanging. So they keep walking, and then Cabal does the thing he does in the Jack Chan where he runs circles around the group, which I still don't know. I still don't know the point of that. I don't see what he's trying to achieve there. It's just very goofy, it's fine. It's like fight sequence stuff. I think it's okay in MK11, like the cutscene fight stuff. It doesn't matter too much, mainly because most fights are mainly completely depicted through your own gameplay. So it doesn't matter too much. It's not like with the MK moves where that's like the main component, because they don't care about the storytelling. It's mainly just the blood and guts and the violence, which they do a terrible job at that in the movies. So the movies just fail on all fronts. So at least here, and what is here, like the fight scene stuff in like cutscenes, is better. I think them trying to recreate deception intro elements like 3 fucking times in Aftermath is really annoying. But like, we're gonna do it later. But like some stuff with Jax is cool. I haven't even gone over most of the animations. So it doesn't mean much to me. I don't think it means much to most. It's just fight stuff between to jump into a actual gameplay thing. So it doesn't mean too much. But yeah. Anyway, I forgot to mention before Cabal shows up, there is a random, because I think it's Nightwolf who's like, yeah, I question the judgment of people follow you, referring to the monks who are loyal to Shang Tsung. And then Sindel, because like the hint that, oh, she's evil, she randomly says, at least I'm not following that full Raiden. Just out of nowhere, Sindel and Raiden have no beef. Like, even if it's evil Sindel, like specifically Raiden, it doesn't make sense as like, Especially when Fujin's just right behind her, and him and Nightwolf just like looks at each other like, what the fuck? Sung's still smirking. Presumably Sung and Sindao make a deal like off screen or something. They like Sung reveals his plan because that will come to fruition in the next chapter. I don't know when they get the opportunity to do it though, cause since Fujin and Nightwolf are like always by their side, so it doesn't make sense. There's not enough context. But anyway, that plan doesn't unfold until the next chapter, so I'm gonna hold off on full Sindel rants until the next video. So yeah, Cabal obviously gets fucking stopped because all he does is run around and waits to get stopped, and then Jade shows up right after, and she does the whole resurrecting, like in Shinnok's name, and resurrects the monks from the dead, which is really weird. I guess the Revenants know like dark magic now, maybe Quan Chi talk. Again, it's another random thing which doesn't matter too much, but also it could really do with an explanation, because it's pretty fucking outlandish that Jade can raise the dead. Like, that's crazy. And also, you know, like it's a whole like 10-second like spell she's casting, and Shang Tsung, who like the characters who have been in the void, and they fucking see everything, I guess. Like they don't stop this even though they know Jade does this. Like there's a perfect window to just like, you know, just throw like a projectile at and interrupt it. Just anything like that. So yeah, it's a bit awkward. And so then there's like a big fight with like the monks. That's what's used aside, and the characters Fujin fights Cabal in the first story fight. Again, it's interesting consistency. Something you don't see much from Mortal Kombat nowadays. Shang Tsung goes after Jade instead of the monks. Like he doesn't want to harm any of his former loyalists, and I think that's neat. Again, I wish there's more detail to those guys, but for what it is, I do think that's a really good little bit. So anyway, Cabal makes a "you're too slow" pun. It's Revenant Cabal, and he's just acting like regular Cabal now for no reason. Whatever. Fujin beats him. Sung beats Jade off screen, I believe. Then they go to Goro's lair. Nightwolf and Sindel, they choose to stay on the surface level for when Setron shows up. Which that's fine. And then it leads to a little quick scene with Shang Tsung and Fujin. They're going to Goro's lair. Fujin asks him when he's going to betray us, because he knows about the betrayal. Because Liu Kang told him. Which, nice detail, even though like you don't even need that for this scene to happen, because Shang Tsung is obviously going to betray you. It's Shang Tsung. But yeah, their interaction is neat for what it is. Again, good characterization of Fujin, Tsung. Nightwolf also is good characterization. I don't really have complaints for them on that front. It's just their utilization in the story is really off. I ruined the illusion of my PowerPoint presentation. Anyway, so Jax and Noob, like they go to get Soul Crown. Jax and Noob interrupt. Again, pretty cool dialogue. Jax is done well. Again, Jax is characterized well. It's just the whole Silent Chronicle thing is really rushed. It's very contrived. I don't know the point of it, but it does. It really does lead to nice interactions when you get to this portion of the story. Same for the main story with like the Jackie and Jack stuff. That was pretty good. So yeah, me being positive, what a shock. And anyway, so yeah, Jack's like recalls how Shang Tsung like tortured him, Goro's there. Like, yeah, that's cool. And then he says he's gonna return the favor, whatever. And like he like flicks his cigar, does like this cool slow motion thing where Sung dodges it, and then they go into this cool fisticuffs fight. Which is, that was good. That was very good. In fairness. Meanwhile, Fujin and Noob go at it, which they also have some decent fight choreography. It's pretty good. Until Noob does this weird spell and he makes a literal black hole, like a tiny black hole, and then he has his shadow clone try and pull Fujin in, which is cool. But also, where does this fucking power come from? What would have happened if Fujin got stuck in there? Where is that sending him to? Back to the void, maybe? Again, of course it's MK silly powers, but I think you gotta draw a line at some point. And I think making little black holes is maybe a bit of a stretch. It's a bit outlandish. But anyway, Fujin gets out. Noob does the typical, "Hey, I've knocked you into something. I'm gonna slowly walk away in a straight line for no reason." And then Fujin bursts out, and then they're gonna fight. And Noob recalls how, basically a mythology reference, because mythologies is still canon to the NRS stuff, surprisingly. But Fujin, and he recalls beating Fujin, but then Fujin says, "You did not win that fight, you ran away." I believe in mythologies you can avoid certain bosses like Fujin. You don't have to fight him. So technically this isn't a retcon thing. But also I do think Bihan beating the gods in mythology was ridiculous. But also you are, for a company and the rest, they don't care about power scaling at all, and they also have really underwhelming villains. I don't know why you bring this up just to devalue Noob further. You kind of need to keep some credibility to your villains, since basically every chapter besides the two after this is just heroes beating up villains. Albeit an occasional villain win when there's whenever they do two characters fight while you're in a different fight, and then you have to fight a person who beat your friend, which happens. It happens a bit here with Tsung beating Jade, Tsung beats Jax and whatnot. So yeah, and also Noob, in his mind he beat Fujin, even though what Fujin says completely contradicts that. I don't understand what makes him think he won a fight. I know corruption, his mind's corrupted, but he's just making shit up to sound credible. That's stupid. But anyway, Fujin beats Noob and then goes to Jax. Tsung's beat Jax, makes sense. And he does this thing where he summons his fire snake, really fucking cool, and it coils around Jax, opens its mouth and it starts taking his soul. That's cool. I do like that. That's really cool. Albeit he didn't need to tie Jax up. He'd already beaten Jax. He could have just done a normal soul steal. So it's kind of just a pointless visual aesthetically, but it's also really cool. So I'll let it slide. So Fujin interrupts that because, what the fuck, Tsung? You stop trying to steal people's souls, asshole. And then Jax is just ready to fucking fight again. Right after, because they need another filler fight, even though they could have just... Jax is already defeated. They could have just had the scene that happens after this. So you don't need to do Fujin versus Jax. That was unnecessary. But yeah. So I'm pretty sure this chapter's 6 fights. Yeah, because Sindel actually gets a fight later in this, which proves that the chapter system doesn't need to exist, because you just have a character fight whenever. And this is only broken once, besides MK9, when Kung Lao dies during his own chapter, and Liu Kang has to fight Shao Kahn instead. Besides that, there's no time that happens. But before that, there's this Jax fight. You beat Jax. Fujin said some stupid shit about oh my god, look at the scoundrels Chronica employs. And it's Noob, and Fujin doesn't know Noob mode. Noob mode isn't to become not human again. It's to have his own shadow clan. So he doesn't actually have a benevolent goal. But like Fujin wouldn't know that. So saying that this person who's corrupted and insulting him as a scoundrel is quite disrespectful. Again, this game just treats Noob and Bihan as the same entity, as if they behave the same way, which defeats the purpose of having a corrupted character in the first place. But whatever. And then Jax is like, you're literally teaming with Shang Tsung, you fucking dickhead. And like, yeah, Fujin's just a massive hypocrite there. So Jax is a good response. They fight. Fujin wins, obviously. And then they have this good speech. It's like very good dialogue. With Fujin, like, this is about like how sentiment is what like makes us like, is like why we fight, to protect our loved ones and whatnot. That's good. Very good actually. Probably the best dialogue in Aftermath. Probably. There's not really any competition. I do have one little criticism though, and it's that because Fujin recalls having an argument with Raiden, and Raiden thinks Fujin living amongst humans. Also, this detail of Fujin living amongst humans, I have a lot of questions about, and no answers obviously. I just want lore nuggets, guys. Please give me lore nuggets. But anyway. So yeah, like he says, like he quotes Raiden, and Raiden like says that like sentiment will impede the execution of your duty, which is not something Raiden would say unless it was Dark Raiden, but this isn't clarified, and also, yeah, that's weird. Unless it's like long ago before like Raiden had like properly developed and whatnot, because like it's not established like how long ago this interaction was or anything. Also, is the Sky Temple, I guess people live in the Sky Temple then, because Baraicho's around, and there's some monks, maybe it's a place that monks are trained as well. Again, that's something I just thought of that doesn't actually have any details. And it's not hard to give details. I think you're not asking for much if you just want some details and whatnot. Like, lore nuggets, they add up, and they're really nice. If you don't add any lore nuggets, then your fucking world is kind of just empty. So yeah, that's what I think at least. I mean, I know most just won't care about such specifics, but I don't think it's a hard thing to have, like, include, like, whether that's on like the website where the bio's fun, or just like Crypt has lore nuggets, has that room with the pointless lore, but that's nice at least. Like, why not, you know? But yeah, Raiden is, that's not Raiden. That's not something Raiden would say. In Mortal Kombat X, Raiden literally says Kung Lao and Liu Kang were like sons to him, which that was like lovely dialogue from Raiden in his chapter in that game. Raiden in MK11, he's just fine. There's nothing really wrong with him. He's inoffensive. It's nothing groundbreaking for a Raiden betrayal, and it's nothing harmful. It's Raiden. I can't complain about Raiden, but yeah, that one dialogue, it doesn't sound like Raiden. Not even MK11 Raiden. MK11 Raiden isn't even like an asshole. Unlike some characters like Sub-Zero, who just progressively become more and more of a dickhead as NRS continue to exist. So anyway, like, this speech like makes Jax like join, like that's cool, and as like a whole, that's still a good scene. I just find that problematic. I don't think that reflects Raiden properly. It's not faithful to the character. But also, it's Raiden. It don't like ruin Raiden or anything. I just think consistency is important, and that is something that is completely the opposite of what Raiden is. That would be something like the Elder Gods would say, not Raiden. Absolutely not Raiden. But yeah, the Cetrion shows up and has a fight with Sindel. Now, this is where the fight choreography goes to the shit, because it's like a weird fucking hentai scene here. Like, Sindel gets smashed through the fucking floor because Nightwolf and Sindel are fighting Cetrion on the ground level. Like, yeah, it picks up Sindel and like slowly raised her with tentacles. Again, by the way, I do remind you, they brought Sindel back for the sole purpose that only she can defeat Cetrion for some reason. Like, you're telling me Shang Tsung, Nightwolf, and Fujin can't defeat Cetrion, but Sindel can? Not saying that Sindel is like worse than all three of these, but the three of them together, that's already enough, right? It's just such a contrived way, and I don't know why anyone would trust Shang Tsung's idea about blatantly is pointless. And took up a chapter of our time, so lovely. Anyway, this is where you get to play as Sindel against Cetrion, and also another detail is they used the modifiers from the Towers of Time, which again took them fucking long enough, but yeah, you can like summon in Nightwolf to help you out, which that's cool. They should have been doing that in the main story. I don't know why it took them until now to do it, but yeah, that's a neat little thing. This is like one of the only two times to do it. They do it again later in this same chapter, and then after that they just forget about it. So yeah, and obviously Cetrion loses because you're not playing as Cetrion, and it's Cetrion. Cetrion doesn't win. It's Cetrion. Yeah, so Cetrion is defeated. They have the crown. The heroes had the crown this time. So now they're gonna go to the Shiroryu Fire Gardens, where Raiden and the boys are. And this is like around the same time Hanzo dies. You aren't gonna see that again. You don't get to see Devore or anything. You also don't get to see the Black Dragon. You don't get to see Scarlett. I think those are the names you don't see in Aftermath. The Black Dragon makes sense because like while like the Fight Club shit's happening, you're busy with playing as Shiva. So yeah, it makes sense why they're not around. Scarlett and Collector should have returned. I know he shows up for like the very first fight of Aftermath, but him and Scarlett should have, like, they're Shao Kahn loyalists, that's their portrayal. I don't agree with it. At least I don't agree with Scarlett being a Shao Kahn loyalist. I think she has way more potential than that, but I think logically they should have been in chapter 16, you know, but they're not. And then Devora just isn't around, which, whatever. I still find it absurd that Devora evades death of all characters, since, you know, like, she's killed a lot of people and Kombat should go away. I don't know why there wasn't a Baraka chapter either. Another missing, but yeah. Still some random character things while I mentioned it. Anyway, that's Shirai, please. I find it questionable because the Hanzo stuff happens a chapter after the Jackie Jacks Shang Tsung and stuff, implying that Hanzo's death is like quite a while later. Yet here it's just at the same time. Very minor. It doesn't really affect anything. I do just find that odd. So anyway, this is right when like Pascal, you know, the asshole Sub-Zero just doesn't believe him. He thinks, because like, why the fuck would past Scorpion be here to kill you all? It's only Scorpion, guys. He's not even that strong in the NOS games. Like, it's not like the movies, like the modern ones, that completely misunderstand him and act like he's the fucking strongest character. So yeah, I don't know what they were doing there. Anyway, so I was like, okay, you're loyal, then prove your loyalty by teaming with me, because Fire and Ice reference. Oh, I hate them as a duo. It's a very overrated idea. That's not really a topic for Aftermath critique, since this is the only time they show up, really. Yeah, they don't even show up in the Sea of Blood stuff, even though they were in the main story. A lot of random absences. Maybe fucking Fujin killed him. I don't know. Anyway, like, Fujin shows up, you beat him. I think if Shang Tsung is like a modifier you can use to help. Or he's frozen. I can't remember specifics. It doesn't matter. Anyway, you win, obviously, which is good. as Fujin should win. And then for the final fight, yes, the final fight, finally there. It's Raiden, and it's angry Raiden, because the amulet, the depiction of the amulet in this game is that, like, it corrupts the wielder, which isn't what the amulet does. It just uses dark energy. Like, it's not what corrupts the wielder. Dark Raiden became corrupt from, like, absorbing corrupted Jinsei essence to purify the Jinsei. It wasn't because of the amulet he was using. He just keeps the amulet because, you know, he's not gonna let anyone else get their hands on it. But no, he gets like the red lightning, even though he's light rating, which isn't an option in the customization. I don't know who would want to use it. It's really awkward, but you know, options are nice, and that's an easy thing you could implement. But anyway, yeah. So you have Fujin versus Raiden, and Fujin wins surprisingly, but you do have the help of Shang Tsung in the modifiers. So I do think that's fair. I think it would be cool if Fujin like just beats him alone. That would be neat. Like pan the back, like. But also it's Raiden, and it's angry Raiden, like very angry Raiden. So I don't think it would make. It makes more sense what they did. But yeah, like I think that would have helped elevate Fujin more. I mean, this game does elevate Fujin, admittedly. Like, overall, it does more good for Fujin than harm. Also, a detail Aftermath establishes, this was just everyone thought this was the case, but there wasn't actually any basis for it until MK11. Anyway, Fujin and Raiden are, like, established brothers now. Like, that's confirmed now. Which is fine. But also, the like, God lore isn't explored enough where this is like a meaningful detail. Like, you need like no parents established. Like, there's no explanation as to how like gods create each other. Like, do they have sex like humans? Like, these are genuine questions. Because out of God lore is just, they have like no attention to them. They need more. Mortal Kombat Reborn, my fanfic, there's plenty of that. That would take way too long for me to cover. It's very long, and it'd be very difficult for me to explain without like facial depictions and whatnot. Maybe a video for another time. If you're interested, check out the DeviantArt. Or join the Discord and ask me. I'll be able to show you some stuff. I have like a family tree and everything. Anyway, I digress. You defeat Raiden. You make Raiden see the light again. And then Kronika shows up, except you have the crown this time. She doesn't, and also you've got more heroes here. So Kronika's like attempt like to abduct Liu Kang, like in the main story. It doesn't fucking work. She just gets beat up. She is not treated as a credible threat, which shows that she's a failure of a character. And like I think it's fair that she's not treated as like a proper threat, but also the fact that like enemies just aren't trying, right? Like, they fucked up the character, they fucked up this new concept, and they didn't care enough to fix it. So yeah, she just gets beat up, nearly dies. I thought she was gonna die when I first watched this. I thought that was just gonna be it for her. She gets away, very wounded. But then her next scene, she's completely fine. So like that's just completely ignored. But anyway, yeah, there's some explanation stuff which is fine and whatnot. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Like that sets up them going to the Sea of Blood, which is unfortunately when we cut to Chapter 16, Visions of Empire, Shao Kahn and Sindel, the dog shit take on Sindel. That's right, the question marks. I forgot I added that to this PowerPoint. But yeah, I can't want to get to this chapter because I have a lot to say about it. It's a dreadful chapter. Everyone knows this. This isn't even like a secret. I'm not even making anything groundbreaking by saying Chapter 16 is fucking atrocious. So, yeah, I'll leave it at that for now. Thank you again for watching. Check out all my stuff. Links in the description. Check out CDR stuff, as I always say. Good stuff. Thank you for watching. I'll see you later.